inside. Keep them reasonably long. I've got those, and I'm going to just a few other little dots in that for those that are sort of standing up straight. Excuse me, and you see the tips. All right, let me just now do the next one, the top one. It's something in my throat that's starting to hook.
Drink your coffee.
Yes. Ooh. Ooh, excuse me. I don't know where that came from. Yeah. Like a hay fever now, my nose is all blocked as well. Yeah. The joys of living. Anyway, great life. Going to live to 120, no problem. Right, let's go. Hair dryer, here we come. Nice silver one. I'm doing something there, but a lot of artists says never ever put a hairdryer onto masking fluid. Well, I've been painting for 65 years, over 65 years, and I've never had a problem, so I don't know where they get their problem from. Anyway, let's start on the flowers, and then we can start taking shape. All right, before we do that, we were talking with Val about what to do. Now let's add some of these little reflections in the shadows, because that is also in the shadow. You will still get reflections from light that's being reflected all over the place. So I'll take some of that. I'm just going to carefully just run some of that in here like this. And I'll take some of that dark and run it out sideways a bit too. See how those reflections are coming in there? You'll have some even inside here too. All inside here, you'll have some of those little reflections coming. And sometimes you'll have these slightly dark, we've got them inside there as well, you see? So we have some of those going out. And that ripple will go across. In the darker area, it'll be lighter. In the lighter area, it'll be a little bit darker. So you can take some of that and run some of that out a bit. And that, see what I've done there? I've run some of them out. So you get those. In other words, what I'm doing is I'm forcing the shadow under the water. Otherwise, it looks like it's laying on top of the water when it's not. Just randomly. Oops, I don't want to get into the flower. Let's take that out quickly before it... There we go. Here I've got some on the other side here too. Sometimes these have a habit of showing themselves up when you put the color of the flower color on them. I think that's enough. Let's sort of force them in a bit. I'll take very light here and just add some much lighter stripes in the water than those darker ones. Let's lift another one out here. There we go. That should be enough. Right, now let's start the flowers. Nice little still want to do water drops, so let's get cracking. Taking some alizarin crimson in some water. There we go. And I'm going to put a very, 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 very light wash over the whole painting, except that before we do that, let me take some nice clean cadmium yellow. I'm going to take something out of this one here where there's no contamination in it, so when I want it nice and bright, so I'm going to take some there, and I'm going to, in this area here, I'm going to put yellow in here. I don't want the pink to get into this area. The pink can go over the yellow, but the yellow won't go nicely over the pink. So let's bring that area. We'll put some more stronger yellow later in there, but at the moment I just want to get the area where we don't want to put any pink into it. So let's just bring that out. All in that area here. There we go. Okay, now let's get back to the pink. And I'm just going to put a quick wash over the lot. Very quick, and if it's a little bit too dark, all I do is I'll just lift some of it off in the areas where I want the highlight to be, and you don't have the absolute white of the paper. I still want that very light pink to show through. Take some water and then just bring it across. Just soak up some of those in the tips where the sun's getting. And what I'm doing is I've got a bit of kitchen roll here, and then I'll lift up, wipe it on there, lift up, wipe it on, and then in the areas where I want. So, right, here we go. If necessary, you can also do that, as long as you know that all this other side is dry. Sometimes when you do that, this can sometimes leave a little pattern on. It may enhance, and some other times it won't. So right now I'm going to take a bit stronger alizarin crimson, and I'm going to start some of these petals. Maybe I'm going to darken a little bit more than what they've got there in the photograph. Now I'm going to take them. I've got a wet brush, a damp brush, and I'll run that next to that one into there, and then just touch it in. What happens now? I get that nice merging going across. Then I'll take most of the water off the brush. Come damp brush, but I won't go right to the edge there now. I'll leave that little piece and do that into there. Always come back later and lighten up that little piece. So we want to get a nice pink color, so right, get some more into here. Into there, we've got a piece into here. I'm using the dark against the light. The lighter tips which are catching the sunlight, and darker down inside. So let's put that in here. take most of the paint off. Damp brush against the side. Just touch it into there. Clean the brush. Damp into there. Now I can leave these others here, which you would normally leave the white paper. When you've done the whole lot, that will be very nice and light, but it's not the white paper, it's that very, very light pink. There. Right, let's take a little bit of a stronger pink. And I'm going to bring that stronger pink right into this area here. Leaving those tips a bit white. To clean this. Just merge those a bit on the side. Very, very gently and very lightly. Any questions so far? Everybody still a bit happy? Okay. No drilling pen in here, because this is the areas inside here is too short, and they look all in the statements very close together. So it's not that easy to get those thin lines into there. You don't want to make it too detailed. So I'm going to touch the darker just in the while it's damp, just in that area. A few just little dabs without giving it a solid line. And that gives you that nice little dotted area where you can see this is the darker is being seen through all the other bits and pieces there. I'm just darkening these little pieces up here. Let's wet this area a bit here, and then bring that wet down into that and up. I'm leaving it a bit stripy because you have those stripes. So let's go to the side here. Ooh, got half an hour left. Got to shift it a bit. Talking too much. Right, let's see. Doing those darks in the area to lift the one leaf above the other. So right, we come back with a wet brush, damp brush on the side, and just touch it into there so you get that nice little merging. I'm leaving a few little stripes in there to give the little folds and stuff in the what you have in the leaves. Sort of just shift it. Just flicking the brush out, as it were.
Daddy is asking, how do you manage to get depth in your deep shadows, like the shadows that you've got now on the water cast by the flower? How do you manage to get depth there so that it doesn't look just flat? If you take, for example, over...
Okay, all right, zoom into here.
Over there, you see
Right.
how you've managed to get depth. She wants to know, how did you get that?
Okay, just zoom into this little area here, Nolan, thanks. Just zoom into this little area. Okay. if you look very carefully, it's not a solid color. It's got a lot of variation in it. I've got the darker inside, and also by virtue of these little ripples that I've lifted out inside, gives you that variation of the color. When you mix a dark color, when you put it down, initially it will look very dark. But remember that when you mix these dark colors, 90% of the time it will dry lighter than what you think it is. More than often you have to mix it darker than what you think it's going to be. And inside here, you got that variation of the colors inside, so it's not a absolutely flat color. So,
and of course your shadows aren't black.
Yes.
They got color to them.
That's why when I mix the color, if you go very carefully, listen to the replay, and you'll see made it very dark purple, and then I said add a little bit of yellow into it, but don't add too much yellow into it. We don't want it black. If you go carefully and listen into that one. By that, I've left it that it's biased. Remember I mentioned it's biased to the green side. You may not see it inside here, but because of that extra little, not a bit of yellow that I put in, but not too much, it's biased so it's not go towards the black. So if I want the darker colors inside here too, I'm going to take a bit more of the maroon. I'm going to put some on the side here, and I'm going to add a little touch of blue into it. So it gives me a bit of a darker maroon inside. So yeah, you can see now I'm adding some. Let's just mix a little bit more. There we go. So I've got that real maroon color inside. Just put that in, lift out the dark areas in the deep shade. It's a deep shade in here. I'm going to put some underneath here and come back with some pink, some very light maroon, alizarin crimson rather, into there. Side here, underneath these ones is a bit darker than the top. Lighter towards the edges. Just sorting out the underside of these petals. Still bits of white, but I'll come into those later. I don't want to make this whole thing too dark. So right, I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and I'll come in. Right, let's go to this other one. I'm going to mix. I'm going to take ultramarine, nice clean ultramarine, into there. Clean the brush, and I'm going to get some little touch of alizarin crimson, not too much. I want to get that violet color, very light. Let's test it on here.